I took a nearby tree and wrote my phone number on the ground, but they all scratched their heads in confusion. Don't they have a phone? I thought for a moment, then drew an image of myself falling from my jet. They looked at my drawings, then offered me raw fish. Ugh, I was so scared that I bawled my eyes out again. Out of nowhere, an American-looking man came out of the hut and slammed his cane on the ground while raising his hand.
Welcome to the Amazon.
Then he led me into his hut. He was the only one I could communicate with on the island, so I got too emotional and embraced him tightly. His name was Robert Smith, a forest researcher, and like me, he got trapped in the forest and found no way to come home. I was constantly crying and clinging to him that he tried his best to reassure me.
Calm down. The Piraha people are harmless. You'll be surprised with how friendly they are.
And as Robert said, they were unduly friendly. The next morning, when I was moody and feeling homesick, a kid came up to me and blew a trumpet which startled me. She excitedly pulled me outside and I saw her people dancing blissfully. Suddenly, the kid pushed me into the center of them where Robert was already standing. I was scared by everyone's gaze, but Robert took my hand and smiled.
Let go of your fear and dance. They're welcoming you.
They all looked at me silently, so I started dancing in panic. It was quiet at first, then eventually everyone started cheering loudly and got in a festive mood. Even though I looked a bit silly, no one judged me. After that day, I became less wary of the Piraha people. In the days that followed, Robert showed me how to live like a native. I learned to use seeds for food exchange. In my free time, I taught the locals how to draw. Once, I drew a gorilla on the blackboard and the Piraha people marveled at my drawing. Everyone was enthusiastic to learn that. One drew something that looked like a dinosaur. Another doodled something that I couldn't even make out what it was, but who cares, right? It was fun. When I checked on Robert, I saw him drawing a scene where I was engrossed in teaching. I blushed and patted his shoulder. Why are you drawing me?
You told us to draw a gorilla, didn't you?
I angrily chased him away while Robert laughed mischievously. The tribe people laughed too, then used the colors to play with us. It was a warm feeling that I had never had at home. Not only that, the Piraha people always gathered together for dinner. They sat around a fire and cooked their specialty dishes. When Robert handed me a fish skewer, I accidentally touched the sharp part of it, causing my hand to bleed. Seeing that, he quickly rushed over to blow on my wound, which made my heart skip a beat.
Are you all right?
Then suddenly, a kid in the tribe used a leaf to cover my wound. The kindness and affection they showed me was something I had never received from my own family. To me, they had become my new home. One day when Robert and I saw that there were no fish left in the storage, we went to the lake to catch some. Suddenly, a canoe approached us. The police ran down from it, and behind them were my parents. Clover? Mommy? My mom was about to run towards me when suddenly someone pulled me towards the forest. It was the chieftain. Losing momentum, I fell to the ground. My mom put on a loudspeaker and said threateningly, "Let my daughter go. Don't make me resort to violence." The chieftain didn't understand English, so he kept pulling me behind him and stepped forward. The police were about to pull out their weapons, when suddenly, the kid from the tribe ran in front of the chieftain. My mom screamed fervently, "Take action!" Immediately I shouted, "Stop it, they just want to protect me. They see me as their family and care about me, unlike you." After that, I told them all the frustrations I had borne for so long and burst into tears while falling into Robert's lap. Again, the sweet child picked a leaf and put it on my wound, which I just got from falling on the ground. The police immediately stopped charging at us, and my mom also burst into tears of regret. She realized what had happened was part of her fault as well. After we all returned home, my mom decided to spend more time with me. As for Robert, he also decided to come home so as not to disrupt the peaceful cycle of life of the Piraha people. We're still keeping in touch and staying good friends. However, in the future, I hope we will be